think we're going now. All right. It says health is good. Yeah, I had to bump up my bit rate a little bit because it kept complaining that the health rate was bad, but I figured it out. It's like when I stopped playing, you know, and there wasn't a lot of stuff going up, audio-wise, the bit rate would drop below 5,000. And then when I would play, it would go above 5,000. I would go from bad stream to good stream to bad stream. So I just locked it at 5,000 as the minimum. What's up, dudes? I hope I'm coming through okay. Video okay. Audio okay. Sounds out. It's not one way, it's the other. What's up, dudes? Looks like we got a bunch of people here. Great Vanzini, Will, Dennis, Angus, Ben. What's up, Ben? I saw your email. I'm still checking on that. I'll let you know soon. But I did see your email. Sorry, haven't gotten back to you. See Machine Roberts, great Ibanez. What's up in Florida? What's up, Thomas? What's up, Colson? What's up, Michael? Mark? Rob, Mini Tom, Lando, James? Yeah, sounding good, good. I'm seeing a lot of people saying it's sounding good, loud and clear. Yeah, you know, I actually did, and I turned down some of my volumes because if I don't, you will hear every little breathe I make, every little thing, right? Because this mic is so sensitive. Plus, you would hear the furnace, which is about 15 feet away from me, and it's a hot air furnace. So when it runs, boy, it's noisy. And then, of course, the condenser has to drain every so often. It's like one thing after another. I thought about putting a wall up here, but I worry about that. There's a couple of reasons why I shouldn't do it. Number one, sort of penning in the heat in this area in the back room would get colder. There's a whole bunch of problems with it getting out in a fire. I mean, there's issues, so. What's up, Peter? What's up, Martin? What's up, Blues Blickner? What's up, Showman? Tactical? What's up, Steven? And Okinawa? And Andy? And Mark? And Adam EVH? And Stephen Ray? Angus Cooper? Everything's crystal? Good. You keep getting timed out, Ben? Hold on, Ben. Hold on. I think I can fix that. Yeah. Okay. So, Ben, I think I just made you a mod, and because of that, that might prevent you from getting shut out like that. If it still happens, let me know. But I know you're trying to comment, and it's saying too many messages at once because they think you're a spammer. And not that you're like having unbridled enthusiasm. What's up, Beatmaster? What's up, EVH and Gear TV? Eric, what's up, buddy? And Jay Beebs, what's up, buddy? Nola Reno. BVN Ninja or BV Ninja? BVN Ninja? I think I'm reading that right. Freaking cold out here to start the... Yeah, that's why I put the baby It's Cold Outside. Not just because of the controversy, as my British friends would say, regarding it. But, you know, it really is cold out. It got like super cold in the last couple of days. Like, we were cold one day, Thanksgiving Day, and then it hasn't been all that cold, really, you know. But we got another shot, another cold blast from our friends in the north. But it's like we're in this little pattern of cold, but if you look next week, we're back to the warmth again. Not really warm, but 10 to 12 degrees warmer than we are right now. What's up, Candlepin Man? Hey, hey. So how you guys doing? Yeah? You doing all right? You guys get your Christmas shopping done? I always like to find out, you know, I know that song sort of came up. We might as well talk about it, get out of the way really quickly. But that Baby It's Cold Outside song, some people didn't want to play it on the radio. So I guess if you really listen to the lyrics, it is a little weird, you know, because at one point she says something like, you know, did you put something in my drink? It's like, you know, did you just get Cosby'd? Right? So it's like, you know, with the whole Bill Cosby thing and putting stuff in drinks and, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's like, I could kind of see the argument for it, but then the other part is like, you know, it's just a song. Calm down, right? I mean, at some point it just starts to get a little ridiculous. We may be there at this point. You know, and I guess it's the same thing that people are complaining about Rudolph. But if you look at the Rudolph the Reindeer story, it's a terrible story, right? It's a guy who's basically rejected by everyone because he looks different, right? I mean, Jesus. And then, you know what? He's accepted when he becomes useful, right? Once you can do something for us, right? Guide our sleigh at night, then, all right, now you're in. But before that, you were out because of the way you looked. I mean, it is kind of a weird... So I guess if you're, like, different, be useful. Like, again, it's a kind of a little bit of a weird tale. Yeah, my point is, like, it's just a song. But, I could... The funny thing is like, when you start... Here's the thing. When you're listening to the song, maybe you just don't even pay attention to the lyrics for Baby It's Cold Outside. But when they wrote them down and you start to read them, you're like, huh. I guess I never realized. Huh. Wow. That is a little weird, you know? Steve, Rob from PA, originally from Lynn. They just found a charred body in another park up there. I moved from Mass to PA. Yeah, you're probably doing a little better. Back in the Pixie Licks days, yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. Rudolph was bullied, yeah. Well, he was pretty much shunned and, like, ran away, right? And, what's the Bumble, right? It's the Bumble, right? The abominable snowman named Bumble, right? That Bumble dude, like with his goatee and everything and the way he smiles, he reminds me of a baseball player who has the same sort of goatee and a very similar smile, you know? It's funny. Anyway. I know, has anyone ever read Grimm's Family Tales, right? Rudolph needed a safe space. Oh. Steve, have you ever done a YouTube show just playing straight through an amp? Well, I did the Viper thing, and when I say straight, I mean I did mic it. But yeah, I ran into the Viper and we did a live show once. I'm trying to think if I ever did another one. I don't think so. Because remember, if it's in the room, right, it's going to get picked up by this mic, which is super sensitive. Like, here's me. Can you hear that? Right, that's a slight tap several feet away from me, right? I mean, with my pick. So, I mean, there's... It's a sensitive mic. So when you mic it, you're going to get phasing, right? Because the mic that's close is going to pick it up a millisecond or two before it reaches this mic. And there's all kinds of problems once those waves get out of alignment. They start to get out of phase, start a little bit of phase canceling. There's all kinds of problems with recording a live amp. Unless you're using a mono mic and you're not miking up the amp, then it seems to work. But I don't think I've ever did one. No, I don't think so. I used to a lot more than I do now. I used to run into my amps and then through my reload box. And geez, for pretty much a year, maybe 14 or 16 months straight, I was always using a tube amp. Always. And I just ran through the tube amp and then straight through the reload box. That's probably like pretty much the whole year of like 2017. Is that an old Ibanez Sabre S? Well, it's the S540. Yeah, and these are by now. So let me think about this. I think this is still the 540S, right? I don't think, although I don't know. It could be the S5. This is a 1991. And I don't know if they've changed, if they've moved the S from the end of it to the beginning of it, right? So at one point, right, it was the 540S. I think this is a 540S. And they've long since dumped the Sabre name. They dumped Sabre pretty much after like the first year or two. They dumped Sabre and they went with a numbering system. Because trademarks. They didn't want to get all caught up in trademarking. And then, yeah, so I think this is still where the S is at the beginning. No, the S is at the end. And I want to say it's either 92 or 93. They switch it. And then it becomes the S540 instead of the other way around. 540S, you think so? By 91, it's the 540. It's the 540S. I think you're right because I know that it was the 540R for the radius, right? 540P for the power, and the 540S for the Sabre. And but at some point they switch that, and it becomes because it was the RG, 550 and 560 and 570. So I think they wanted to move the letter into the front or some crap like that. But this doesn't have, this has got that's a Duncan, I forget now. I think it's a JB. And this is definitely a JB Junior in the neck. Have any Jackson USA guitars? No. I came so close to buying one a couple of years ago, but it sold before I could get my wallet out. It was cheap too. It was like $8.99 for a soloist in the dark maroon, single double. I think that's the SL1, right? Or the SL2, I think is 2 humbuckers, or a humbucker, single humbucker, or something like that. But it was SL1. It was gorgeous. I was like falling over myself to buy it, and I literally just couldn't pay for it quick enough. It sold. What's up, Cheddar Kung Pal? 540L for the ladies. I don't remember the 540L. Oh, don't get me going on Dio. I had the same guitar in black with the JB as well. Phenomenal guitar. Yeah, this is, I think, not jewel blue. That's a little bluer. This is a little greener. I want to say, hold on, I got to move my thing here so I can see myself. Here I go. I want to say this is laser blue. Right? Laser blue. And it's so funny because you see so many out there. See, it says, well, you probably can't read that, but it says, geez, you can't. Yeah, you're not going to be able to read that. Right on this little square right here, it says custom made. So you see so many on there that are like custom made, but then none of these were custom made. It's the factory model. Always was a factory model, but you see it out there. Hey, thanks, EVH Gear TV. Much appreciated. Merry Christmas to you too, buddy. You guys get your Christmas shopping done? I got my wife pretty much done. I got my son definitely done. Geez, I always overspend. And then my daughter, I really haven't got anything for yet. I got to figure something out there. And then, of course, my sister and my parents. That's always a chore. Right? You're like, what do you... Especially my dad. It's like, what do you got to be... Everything You know, you go over his house at like Thanksgiving. He's like, I just bought myself this. It's like, why are you buying yourself something? You know, buy your, oh, you're going over there. Yeah, I just bought myself this. Oh, yeah, laser blue sounds familiar. Yeah, I think so. I think it's laser blue. Oh, killing it tonight. Yeah, you think so? No, thanks, buddy. I need me one of those. What year is this? This is a 91, which you know because it has a serial number for 1990. I think I've been over this a few times. They produced their models the year prior to release. Ibanez is, you know, they're funny like that. So, although this has a 0 at the beginning of it, and you would think it would be a 1990, it's actually a 1991. And in fact, when I've looked it up, it doesn't appear until the 1991 catalog. What about Santa? I know, right? Santa. Hey, what's up, RJ? Good to see you, buddy. And Angus Cooper. Good to see you, too. Nocturnal Butterfly. Another regular. All the regulars are here. Good to see you guys. Yeah, I got this one for short money, which is pretty much the reason I bought it. I bought it because it was cheap. I want to say I paid $249 for it with the pickups in it, and I was pretty happy about it. It's MIJ. These are. This is something that probably retailed around $7.99, maybe $8.50. Probably $9 with a case. And I don't think you could get it without a case back then. They pretty quickly put a smackdown on the cases. In other words, you couldn't buy it without a case. They were tired of making cases and having a case inventory. What's up, Lefty Mike? Sinner O, what's up, buddy? Good to see ya. Gave my dad a guitar this year for birthday. He had enough phone SG I picked up in trade. Surprised, but he doesn't play it. Always wanted to. That's an awesome story. I love that, right? Because there's a gift that really comes out of left field. In other words, he always wanted to, didn't expect you to get it, and you got it for him. And he's like, hey, and again, it's probably something he wasn't going to go out and get on his own. So it's something you probably had to prod him on a little bit more by buying it for him. So good on you, man. That's awesome. That's a great gift. That's a fantastic gift. Yeah, that was cheap. This is one that was just on like Guitar Center used, and I was like, huh? It was up for $299, and they had dropped it to $249, and I recognized it right away from the stupid custom made block, right? I was like, oh no, that's got the custom made block, and I could see this little bit of writing in here that says IBZ USA. This pickup is made by DiMarzio, right? DiMarzio makes this pickup, and they make it in New York for them. So these, I don't know that they were shipping these pickups from New York to Japan, having them installed, right? I think they were sending the guitars without the electronics, and the final stage of electronics was done in New Jersey, right? And they were always trying to not outright say it, but sort of suggest that it was made in Bensalem, PA. That's where it was, Bensalem, PA, right? Pennsylvania. So it seemed like they were always sort of suggesting that. They're like, maybe, right? They would put it, I think it's on the plate. Yeah. What do they say on this? This one says North Hollywood. Go figure. 7101 Case Ave, North Hollywood, California. This was not made in North Hollywood, California. Not even close. It was made in Japan. Cameron Cooper, what's up, buddy? I missed about 40% of that. That's why it's custom, right? Right? The custom part is that it was made in Japan. just says, like, so crazy. Rob S. says, I'm from Ben Salem. The factories are on the corner. Yeah, see, I thought they did a lot out of that Ben Salem factory. Like final prep or some crap like that, right? It wasn't, these were machine, they're cut, finished, fretted, painted, right? Finished, all that stuff, all over there. And I don't know for sure because Ibanez has been so tight-lipped about their production processes. But it felt like it came over here and then had IBZ USA pickups put in Pennsylvania because they would get them shipped right down from New York, right? These were being made on Long Island by DiMarzio. So, I don't know. I probably should read my Ibanez book. It's like I've had it for like 2 years. I've never read it. Inlay is custom part. Right, exactly. The custom part is that one inlay. Although all the guitars had it, so how custom could it be, right? Just realized the hockey game is Toronto versus Boston. Yeah, I don't know. All I know is that Boston's been stinking it up this year. I'm going to say, I don't even know the line. I'm going to say that Toronto's favored. Look that up if you're feeling adventurous. But I'm going to say that Boston's got to be the underdog in this. We've had a terrible year. We're not doing very well at all. In fact, earlier today when I was in the shower, we have a shower radio in there, and I had the sports radio on, and they were talking about it. They're like, it was a very grim look at game, hockey games to come. Cineros is back when the word Japan on a product was looked down on. Now everyone wants one. Yeah, well, I think what it was the early stuff out of Japan, like those Tiescos and stuff, like those really baseball bat neck, just garbage. In fact, I ran into one recently. My Cameo acoustic is the same way. The finish is literally like painted on. These were like so cheap, just incredibly cheap made guitars. The frets, I mean, you look at them, you're like, it's nothing like you've ever seen. Like the frets don't even have a line, like they're glued on, like they're flat underneath. You know what I'm saying? And they just glue the fret on using glue. I mean, it really is that bad. And so, Japan had a rep. But here's what happened. The Fujigen happened, and you gotta remember, Ibanez didn't make any of the guitars themselves. They jobbed them all out to Fujigen, and Fujigen just got better and better and better. By the time you get to like the late 70s, gotta remember, Ibanez has been around since the 60s, but when you get to the late 70s, they're getting their act together. Like those Ibanez artists from like 76 on, by the time you get to 77, 78, they've got their act together big time. Big time. They really, really do. They were one of the first places to use a CNC machine. Back then it was probably run by hamsters. It's so bad. Oh, is it Staten Island? It's not, really? They're on Staten? They're not on, someone's saying Staten Island. Yeah, Celtics aren't doing well either. Yeah. Yeah, they're stinking it up. So much for Titletown, huh? So this is, that's a pretty thin, look at the thinness on that neck. It's like, careful, you'll cut yourself on it. That's the neck that when you turn it sideways, it disappears. Even the headstock looks a lot fatter, doesn't it? Yeah. This is so thin, this has got to be a Wizard 1. I doubt it's Wizard 2 or even Wizard 3. That's feeling OG Wizard right there. Hey, what's up, Tony? That's a lot of good information on Ibanez history. The book is a fairy tale, really? Okay. Yeah, see, I don't know if the book, I thought the book was I thought there were two versions of the book. Right? One was an authorized and one was the unauthorized. And the unauthorized was where all the good stuff was, right? And the unauthorized was off the market for a while, but I think it's finally back on the market, or I could be completely wrong on that. I don't know. I'm not really an Ibanez book historian. So. Have you ever played an HM Strat in the late 80s? I have. So for those of you that don't know, in the late 80s, you know, everybody was getting their ass kicked by Kramer, right? And so they all wanted to make a heavy metal guitar because heavy metal was in, right? That was what was going on. So Fender came out with the HM Strat. On the headstock, it said like Strat, like it was spray painted on. Quite frankly, it didn't look very metal. Later on, they did look almost like a stencil look. It was a black with a stencil. I thought those looked a lot better. It was a more like metal industrial look than that stupid, you know, it looked like it was done with an airbrush. I don't know. It wasn't working for me. I can tell you that. The necks on those were pretty thin, kind of like this is. The problem with those necks that I didn't care for, this is just a completely personal opinion. The neck's a little wide, and they do that to simulate a classical guitar, which is a little bit wider neck. I never liked the width of the neck. It was just a little too wide for my liking. They had one that showed up in the Natick store, black one. I want to say it was single, double. Had their locking Fender trim. You know, I don't think it was a Floyd Rose. It was a licensed by Floyd Rose trim at the time. And that guitar was on the it was a black one with a rosewood fingerboard. It was on the shelf at the Natick Guitar Center for $3.99, and I was like, that's actually a really, really good price. $3.99. I was on my way to go visit a dude, and I stopped there with the intent on buying the guitar. I said, you know, I'm going to go buy this guitar, and then when I show up at his house, I'm going to have a brand new guitar in my car. Well, I couldn't buy the guitar. I just did not like the neck. I got there, I started playing it. I was like, oh, this is not going to work. This neck is too wide. I'm having trouble playing certain things. I was like, oh, this neck isn't going to work for me. You know, all the best laid plans, right? And I was like, no. And I walked away. I said, no. Then the guitar went down to $2.99. And I got to say, for a second there, I thought I might be able to get over that neck width and, you know, issue. But, you know, you refresh the page and it's gone. It was friggin' history. At $2.99, it flies out the door. But those HM Strats were cool. You know, the guy out there who's killing it on HM Strat, I don't know if he's playing anymore, was the guy up in Canada there. Jacob Draps, I think is his name. And kind of a Van Halen dude, right? I mean, he does other stuff. He does a lot of, you know, Dire Straits and other bands. But, you know, I think he pretty much got famous on his ability to play Van Halen pretty much like Van Halen, which is kind of tricky. It's trickier than you think. And he played an HM Strat, and really, look at that dude's hands. He's got like really large hands, and I think it's a lot easier for him on a guitar like that than a guy like me. I'm all palm. You know, look at that. My palm is the length of my goddamn fingers. It's like, doesn't work. Thanks, Lefty Mike. I got a question in SFB, looking for a distortion pedal. And I got $100 to spend at Guitar Center, wanting something with some girth to play through SC times 2. Thanks. Let me think about that. And of course, anyone in the comments, if you have one, shout it out. Shout it out. But you want a distortion. So I got to be careful here because you're not looking for an overdrive. You're looking for a distortion. I'm going to gaze upon the shelf, see if anything sticks out at me right now as a straight up distortion. You know, that Cinders is pretty good. That's a TC Electronic. That's a pretty inexpensive pedal, though. The other one I'm thinking of is, but I think it's more than your budget. is the El Rey Dorado by Keeley. That was actually designed by the dude. It's supposed to be like a plexi. That's pretty. That's pretty hot. In fact, there's not a lot of range on that pedal. That's a strong pedal. What else did I have recently that I thought was very distortion-like? Looking over on the shelf. I mean, there's the Seymour Duncan, but that's more of like an overdrive. That's not really. When I think of distortion, I'm thinking more like the Cinder. Oh, you know what's really good? You just came to the DC Drive by Carl Martin. That is actually a really, really killer pedal. Yeah, let me find. Yeah, it's right here. It's right here. There you go. The DC is a diode clipper. Right there. God. There we go. Yeah, there's my best shot. There's my best shot so far of it. Right there, the old DC. Like Carl Martin. Carl. That pedal sounded killer. And I ran that through the Hughes and Kettner. I plugged it straight in. I got a video on it recently. Give that a check out and see if you like that. Especially there's a point very late in the video where I'm playing it clean, and I'm playing it dirty through that, and I turn it off, and you hear the clean sound. You turn it back on. I mean, it couldn't be any more of a stark difference between the on and the off on that pedal. Anyone remember the Zoom 9002? I do. Anyone remember the, you guys want to start throwing out DS1? That's a good one. DS1. Or people are saying Wampler Pinnacle. Get that used. The old trusty Boss DS1, right? Proco Rat, but I think of a Rat as more of an overdrive than a distortion. No? Am I wrong on that? I think of that as more of like a Strat, with a Proco Rat sort of cranked up a little bit. You're getting more of like a Stevie Ray sound, or a little bit hotter than that. Fender Pugilist. Pugilist. OCD clone, Joyo, Ultimate Drive, cheapest buggery, and sounds great. Okay, good to know. It really depends on the type of sound, the distortion you're seeking. Cinero is, he's got some. We're going to crowdsource an answer for you here, Mike. What's up, Don Juan? MXR Distortion Plus, sure, but that's a very mid-pushed. I think you might get more range out of something like a DC Drive, because at least it has a tone knob and it's got a fat and a regular switch, which really changes the sound of it. Rat is a distortion all the way. Mick Marstone. Okay, all right, I didn't know that. Okay, very good. Moore makes good stuff. Yeah, they do. Soul Food is a great distortion pedal for under $100, right? Isn't the Soul Food is that a clone? The Soul Food? Is that supposed to be a clone, or am I confusing it with one of their other pedals? Steve, did you see the reviews? Oh, wow, that wasn't even on. Yeah, that was in between. I had one more. That was on position 2. Did you see the reviews of the PRS John Mayer Silver Sky? I got to play a Silver Sky when I was out at KidCon. PRS brought a Silver Sky. And I got to play it in a couple of videos. I got to say, I really like the guitar. It's not a Strat. As a guy who I think I can say with confidence knows Strats. I mean, I own quite a few Strats. I've played Strats pretty much since like 1981. So, I'm familiar. It's not a Strat. It's got a PRS neck on it, for sure. It's just a 3 single coil PRS. Has a certain styling to it. I thought it sounded great. I thought it sounded really, really good. I was, and of course the build quality is just so through the roof, right? PRS. It's like, you know, top quality. Really, really is. So, yeah, I like the Silver Sky. I get the controversy, but it's not a Strat. Period. End of story. It's Strat-ish, you know. But it's like saying that like an ESP Nighthawk or whatever that is. Not the Nighthawk, you know, that's a Gibson. But you know what I'm saying? Like the ESP is like a Les Paul. It's like it sort of is, but it kind of really isn't. You know? Has anyone listened to Jason Becker's new album? Steve, no, I haven't. I do have I mean, I could break it out if we want to. I do have a Jason Becker guitar here. I was going to do a video on it, but I haven't had a chance yet. I feel bad because it's he's not even in the chat tonight. It was loaned to me by Krellbar. He loaned it like the night we shot that video. That was in October. Now we're in December. So I the poor bastard. Like I still have the guitar here, but I do. I have a Becker, a Jason Becker here, with all the accoutrements that you would expect from that model. You ever have any trouble with ears ringing? After shows, yeah. I've gone to a few shows, and after the show, my ears rang for like a day. But if they're ringing longer than that, you probably have tinnitus, which is, as far as I know, incurable. And that sucks. And that's where like earplugs and just managing your ears. I one time blew out my left ear. Everything that came through my left ear was distorting. And I really freaked out. I was like, did I break my eardrum? You know, I mean, everything out of this ear was like all distorted. And I went to the doctor, and he's like, yeah, you probably damaged your eardrum a little bit, and you're going to have to. So what I did was I wore an earplug for like 2 weeks in that one ear so I wouldn't stress it. And then I was so worried about even taking that out, you know. Not at night, I wouldn't wear it at night, but during the day I would wear that earplug. Break out the back. Yeah, we could. It's not the numbers one, it's the blue one. I'm seeing a lot of people requesting that. My tinnitus is great. I tune my guitar by it. Eee! Oh, thanks, Cheddar. Much appreciated. Yeah, see, Ben, if your ears started ringing and they haven't stopped, that's most likely tinnitus. I used to be really bad about wearing headphones like too loud, but I've really, you know, all it takes is one really bad scare, and you're like, I don't want to lose my hearing. I definitely have hearing loss because every time I go to get my hearing done, that last little bit, and it's not both ears. One ear is much worse than the other, but I want to say it's in my right ear, I forget, or my left ear, but one of my ears, to get that last tone or last two tones, she's got to pump up the amplitude on that so freaking loud. I'm like, oh, now I hear it. But I can't hear it at its normal. At the test amplitude, I can't hear the frequency. She's got to increase the amplitude for me to hear that frequency. Bruins up 1-0. Wow. Give it time. I've heard that the 3-goal lead is the most dangerous lead in hockey. I was at a Def Leppard gig 2 nights ago, Rockin' Like 1987. Nice. Was his vocals good? That's the biggest thing I heard, is that his vocals can be sort of squishy. Yeah, tinnitus or a Motorhead show. I swear to God, I ran. They sent me running for the exit. It was so loud, it hurt. It hurt. It's same at P-Funk, and I'm not the only one who said that. Mike Palmisano saw them and said the same thing. He goes, I don't know what their problem is, but every time I go to see P-Funk, they're so ridiculously loud, it's almost unlistenable. It was painful at P-Funk because they had that bass going so strong, you know. Hey, what's up, PDX Guitar Freak? All right, so in PDX Guitar Freak's honor, we'll break out the Jason Becker. Now remember, I don't own this. All right, hold on. This is not my guitar. Oh. Ew. All right. Move that. I'm going to move this. Oh. Get out a stand. Oh, we'll set that up. You guys still here? All right. Still here, right? You know what? I'm gonna. Can you guys see the flame? You guys see the flame on the neck? Oh yeah, there you go. I almost feel like it's too bright. Hold on. Hold on, I almost feel like it's too bright here. Oh, video capture device, propertize. Let me just bring that gain down a hair. Yeah. Yeah, see, now I feel like you can see the... Yeah, see that? Now you can see it a little better. It was almost like a little too blown out. So, this is a push-pull. I think when they're in, it's active. And when it's out, it's passive. And then these are, I want to say, coil cuts, in and out of phase switch. This has got a notch in it. I don't know what the hell that is. I'm going to say that when it's active, this is probably some sort of a notch filter. I don't even know. I got to say, I don't know much about it, other than it looks freaking amazing. And this guitar doesn't have a scratch on it. And I'm like so freaked out. I'm going to put a single scratch on this guy's guitar. All right. Well, it would help if I plugged it in. All right, watch your ears. I'm about to do a switch-o change-o here. Let me move this away. I'm so worried about bumping this guitar. I hate touching guitars that aren't mine. That wasn't too bad. Okay. All right. Yeah, too many controls, right? It's like an airplane. It's actually not too bad. It's really 4 knobs and 3 switches, and the switches are pretty self-explanatory. It's a coil cut for each, and then the third one. The 2 top ones are coil cut. and the bottom one is an out of phase. And the out of phase, I believe, only works when you're in coil cut. So I think that's active, and that's passive. How much more bass versus active? Much brighter. Remembering Dime, yeah. I forgot both he and John Lennon. Both on the 8th. Right? Sucks. I remember John Lennon. You gotta remember, that Monday Night Football game was against the Pats. Right? Was it Pats Miami or Pats Jets? I'm going through the normal amp, which is, I turn that off. Yeah. So it's a master volume. Well, that didn't change anything. There's a tone. It's a master tone. Oh, that's almost like an EQ. I don't know. This guitar confuses me. All right, I better look at these comments here. Love that truss rod cover, right? Way cool. I'm just trying. Usually I get the light right here. Oh, there it goes. Just got to tilt it out of the light. Move away from the light. Look at that neck. Unfortunately, it's just the fingerboard. The neck itself is rather Spartan. You can see the neck through. You can see the battery compartment. And there's that flambe top. Look at that thing. Hello. I'm so worried about bumping this on anything. I really am. I'm like freaking out. That's why this thing hasn't been out of the case. You know. All right, there we go. But I lost me, and now I'm back. Hello, UK. What's up, Gareth? Perpetual burn pickups? I don't know, because these can be custom ordered. I don't know what he ordered in it, or if this is just a straight up Becker, which if that's what comes stock, then they probably are. In other words, if his, if he's got the straight up, but these, those look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, these are custom 22s, right? Or these are the 11 pole pieces, right? So these are carving pickups all day. These are not. So is the perpetual burn the Duncan pickup? Because if it is, these aren't them. Right. Yeah, it's a respectable looking top, right? It's a respectable neighborhood. It's Krellbar's. It's Krellbar. If you don't know Krellbar, he played Evil Clown #2 in my Halloween special. He's a big guy. I needed a guy who's big, and he's like 6'6". Available in the used market? I think they are, but not often. I do check, Guitar Center used, and you'll see a ton of carving on there. A Becker might come through once in a while, but not really. I think the people who buy these are, they're fans. I don't think anyone's running out to buy a pointy-headed guitar like this just on a whim. I think it's more likely that they're a fan of Jason Becker, and they're buying it and they're not going to sell it. I That's my guess. So I don't think they come up on the used market as much as somebody who goes in and buys a Carvin or a Kiesel and then falls out of love with it in 24 months or 36 months and says, you know what, I'm moving on. And the guitar shows up in the used market. That's pretty common. I don't see these quite as much, and I just think because of the love of the guy who it represents. Ever check out any Prestige guitars? Is that the brand? Because that's like an Ibanez Prestige. You know, pretty much all my guitar. Prestige just basically means it's made in Japan. And by that metric, all my guitars from Ibanez are Prestige because I don't think I have any my bass is Korean made. That was the one Billy was playing a couple of weeks ago. You know, all my Ibanez's are MIJ. Trying to think if I have any Ibanez that isn't MIJ. And I don't. No. MIJ. MIJ all the way. Yeah. That's a Prestige right there. That one, not so much. That's a $139 Harley Benton, which actually plays surprisingly well. But that's a... what were those new? About $1,600? $1,599? $1,699? Something like that. You know, it's a mahogany body, which is I think my only Ibanez with a mahogany body. And of course, it's got the big, thick maple top, about the same thickness as this one. Probably what, 3 mil, maybe 5 mil. Okay, Prestige is a company out of, see, this is why you have to ask. Prestige is a company out of Canada. Nice stuff. Well, they should be with a name like Prestige, right? But, cool. I have an MIJ West Tone Thunder. Yeah, MIJ is good stuff. You know, in the West Tone stuff, I think we were a West Tone seller and maybe Westbury too. Remember Westbury? You know. No, the Canadian company. Okay. Prestige is a brand also. Yeah, I'm getting that. I'm figuring that out. Steve, you're going to make me spend money on a Carvin too, right? I know. These are nice. And I've been playing my Carvin a lot, but I'll tell you this much on, not this Carvin. This Carvin sounds great. I got to bring that down a hair. Maybe a hair more. Maybe even a bit more. There we go. And then, yeah, well, you really hear the difference when you go passive, right? Versus, it's almost like taking earmuffs off. Versus, you know? So PDX, you have an Ibanez Prestige, right? You've got the 30th anniversary model, right? You still got that, I hope. And I could have sworn you had another guitar recently. I forget what it was, but I was like, oh, I was going a little nuts. I forget, what did you have? Was it a Charvel? What did you have recently? I was like, oh, look at you. Was it a Strat? Did you finally get a Strat? Oh, I forget now. But I saw you recently, and you had a new guitar. I'm drawing a blank here. Play some Dio on that thing. That's what I've been playing all night. This feels out of tune. Play some cacophony. or cacophony, as some people say. It's not, it's cacophony. The Jackson Custom Shop. That's what it was. You sneaky bastard. The Jackson Custom Shop. Yeah, cacophony. As I often say with that. Yeah, you first. The neck on this guitar is freaking gorgeous. You know? It's like the softest lobster drowned in warm drawn butter. Is the family out shopping? No, what's with that carving, Reggie? No, the family's not out shopping. Let me think about this. My wife might be, but my daughter's across the street babysitting, and my son went to something with a friend, or I forget if it was a show or whatever, but he was going to something. It might have been a party. They're all going to be coming home around 9 o'clock, except my daughter. She's, I think they're out shopping. The people across the street, they got 3 little kids. And, she went over there at 5:30. She probably won't be back till like 10:30 or 11. Whoa, wait a second. I'm going back here. Wait a second, breaking news. What did you say there, PDX? You sold it? Decided the neck wasn't meshing with me. Is that the Jackson or is that the Ibanez? I think I need clarification because I missed out on this. But I sold it. So do you mean you sold your Jackson custom shop? Or you mean you sold the Ibanez because that neck wasn't meshing with you? I could see the Ibanez just because that's a thin neck. Not a lot of people, I could see that. But it could be the Jackson. Maybe the Jackson wasn't right. Boy, now I'm, now we're going to sit here and wait for the answer. Your neighbors watch your shows. Oh, God, I hope not. Jesus, it's going to be awkward next time I see them. Steve, nice covering. Yeah, it's not mine. It's Krell Bars. I'd like to keep it, but he is 6'5". I think I'm a big dude until I stand next to him. I'm only 6. I sold the Jackson Soloist. All right. It happens, the Jackson Soloist. All right. But you still have the Ibanez. The neck was just a little too big for me. Yeah, that's so funny you say that. So I think what a lot of people forget is that, when Jackson was sort of doing their thing, he wanted to be a little bit thicker neck than a Strat, right? It was supposed to be the merger of a Les Paul neck on a Strat body, right? Wasn't that his whole genius behind it? I'm going to put a flatter radius, bound, like ebony custom neck, which is going to be a little bit bigger than a Strat. I'm going to put it on a Strat style body, and it's going to be pretty much a merger between a Les Paul and a Strat. And to some degree, I think he kind of achieved it, But the neck is not going to be like a Strat. It's going to be a little bit thicker. That's so funny you say that because, Bobby has one. He had a few. And it's probably just going from like Ibanez to that. Everything feels thick after that. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was the thinnest neck out there for sure. Think he called that guitar Bluey? Bluey Blue? Electric Blue? Elijah Blue? Again, I just can't help but look this way and say, don't whack anything. And I want to have the whackening. I have a Korean Dean Mark V that's killer. Korea, Indonesia, China, trust me, they can make good guitars. But it just really depends on the one. Like this acoustic here, you see that acoustic right there? That's made in China, right? That is one of the finest acoustics I've ever played. The attention to detail on that guitar from head to toe is stunning. Again, I think with China, it's just a matter of what you're willing to pay for. People don't go to China to make high-end instruments. They go there to make as cheap an instrument as they can get away with. So that's probably where China gets its rep, kind of where Japan got its rep when it started out. But at some point, they say, hey, maybe we can make some nice ones too, if people are willing to pay the money for it. And it took time before people were willing to pay money for Korea, before people were willing to pay money for Indonesia, like the premium brand out of Ibanez. Again, it took a little bit of while for the longest time, Americans wouldn't buy a guitar that wasn't made in America. But that all went to the wayside because Japanese companies came out that were just better and better and better. And finally you were like, you know what, this guitar is actually pretty good. So you sort of get over it. And besides, Norland Gibsons, CBS Strats, America wasn't exactly whacking it out of the park, for a little while with their build quality. It really is a fluctuation. Are you using TH3? Yeah, I'm using TH3. I'm using my normal over-the-top sound, which is dual heavy rig. But, I'm just going to switch real quick to contemporary blues. Calm down, just for a couple minutes. I'll get back to the other one. But just to maybe... to hear these pickups a little bit. That's in the active. I'm going to pull out the passive. Definitely warmer. Versus in. Hey, Ken. Thanks, buddy. Merry Christmas to you, too. Looking forward to NAMM? I am. I just got a Sigma, let's just call it 200 plus, made in China for $19.99. Both looks and sounds amazing, right? It's like they can do it. It's just it's hard. It's a hard sell. It's a hard sell in other markets. It's hard to come to America and say, like, I want $2,000 for a Chinese-made instrument, despite the quality. Like that instrument made by Taylor could be $6,000, right? I mean, that's where it all comes down to. It's all relative, right? It's like, what are you getting for your, for your money? But I know it's tricky. It's tricky, and it's. We're so used to, just like Japan had to overcome its early terrible quality, and Korea had to get over its quality, right? The Mexican stuff used to be, not that great. It got better over the years, better and better. And then there was a big change in 2006 where I think they retooled their factory, and it got really good. So, and I'm not the only one who thinks that. I've seen that over and over again on forums where something happened at the MIM factory in 06, and maybe they just bought new equipment. But I'm not really sure what it was. But something happened and the quality definitely improved. Maybe they just changed their processes. In other words, they had another step in quality control. I'm not really sure. Paul Gilbert's Ibanez models are currently made in China. I wonder if he actually uses them or gets them built in Japan for him. They wouldn't be built in Japan. They would be built at the LA custom shop for him. So like Mrs. Smith just got her Kitty guitar that was made by the LA custom shop. If you're in the way Paul Gilbert's in, right, with Ibanez, they just go right to their LA custom shop and it's all handmade. Like just straight up for them. They show the love. They're not. I think Paul was playing his imported model for a long time because he wanted to sell them. Right, he makes a little bit of money off the sale. And if you're playing your LA custom shop guitar and you can't buy it, right? I think he felt the pressure to say, "Look, I'm playing the same guitar you're playing. Right? I'm not I'm not playing my LA Custom Shop, but I have a feeling that his guitars are made for him by the LA Custom Shop. Hey, Steve, have you ever tried a Fernandez Sustainer? No, but I am intrigued by Sustainers in general. I became friends with a guy on YouTube named Davidas, right? I don't know if you know that guy. He's out of Florida. I think he's out of Sarasota, Florida. And I met him at NAMM and then again at Summer NAMM. He's a really good guy, and he uses a Sustainer all the time. And it's always intrigued me because I love that. It's basically a, it's the, what do they used to call that? Oh, God, it's on the tip of my tongue. You know that thing. You know that thing? Looks like a magnet. Anyway. Oh, God, it's on the tip of my tongue. You know what I'm talking about. But it's like that, but it's built into the guitar, right? It's basically, it creates a magnetic pulse by using electricity. EBO, that's what it is, EBO. So the EBO, it's basically built into the guitar, and there's a couple of different harmonics you can choose. So I played one from Schecter, and I got to say, I was intrigued by it. So they make a Schecter Sun Valley Super Shred, 2 models, one with the Sustainer and one without. And I've always been intrigued to get like one of those with the Sustainer in it. You can get them cheap, like $500 now. And I got to say, it's been on my radar a little bit, but too many guitars. Yeah, EBO. See, everyone, it's the elbow. How much louder? Okay, passive. Active. What a huge difference. All right, enough of this sound. I said it was only going to be for a minute, and I meant it. There we go. Now that's a tone. All right, there we go. Now where am I? I'm right there. There we go. I tell you, I think these are stainless steel. You can feel them. Because my other carbon is stainless steel. You can feel it on the bend. It's slippery. You can feel the slipperiness of those. It's like you just polished the frets, but you didn't just polish the frets. You know? Stephen Boss, ever heard of a Saline CP from Pegasus Overdrive or ever use a Klon Centaur? If so, any comparison? I haven't. You know, that whole Klon thing was never really. I mean, listen to the. That's not a Klon, right? It's I'm way, I think, heavier than what the Klon would put out. You know, and the Klon was just such a weird thing. Short-lived, wicked expensive. Now you find them in the used market for like what, thousands of dollars or something. It's crazy, and there's so many Klon clones out there. God, everybody's got one or two. I'm looking your way, Wampler. He's got like 2 of them. But yeah, it's just a pedal that never really came across my radar, unfortunately. You know, I've been using mainly software. Feels a little out. When you hold the neck up on the carbon, you just getting here? I've done it a few times. There she blows. Oh, sorry. You still there? All right. Making sure I'm not. I'm making tracks in the winter snow. Will you be doing another stream before Christmas? I think I will. And I picked my Christmas song. The song has been chosen. And now I just got to record it. But I'm getting there. What's up, MB215? Hi, Steve. I like your videos. It helps me looking for good pickups. Thanks from Montreal. I know you're here. That's pretty, yeah, it's nice. I haven't been to Montreal in a little bit now. My kids were just up there over the summer. Go to the Montreal Jazz Festival. Have you tried the new Fender amp? No, I haven't. Are these M22s? I think so. It looks like 22s, but you know, they're a funny company now. They all look like M22s, but they're not M22s. They have different branding for them. So I'm going to say yes. What's your go-to preset for TH3? The one I'm playing right now, which is called Dual Heavy Rig. Dual Heavy Rig. And if you have TH3, I think someone posted my my patch bank. I don't know if can I do that now? I don't think I can. No, I'm not even going to try. But somebody, I posted my patch bank out a while ago, and of course this is in it. But of course you need TH3 to import it. And don't import it over one of your other banks. Go to a blank bank and import there. Some people are like, oh, you overwrote my bank. It's like, well, you got to choose an empty one. Phil X has a great Christmas song out. Oh, does he really? I haven't seen it. I'll check it out. Keep the guitar it's made for me. Well, break the news to Krellbar. How do you rate the Carbon against the big boys? Oh, these are just as good, as any manufacturer out there. You know, once you hit a certain Mendoza line of quality, I mean, that's a nice, that's a nice guitar right there. Again, I am being overly cautious, not to whack-and-see, neck-and-see. Play some cheesy Christmas tunes. There we go. Almost made it. Nice carbon. Where'd that come from? That's Krellbars. It's a loaner. What are the pickups in the Carbon? I don't know. It is, I think, the straight-up Becker. They are 22, pole pieces, so M22, but I don't think so. I think they make like 10 different models with the 22 in it now. It's a push pull. It's active, so when it's in, when it's down, it's active, and when it's up, it's passive. You can hear it right there, right? I'm going active. Huge difference. Much, much brighter. Yeah, I remember when John Lennon died. I totally remember that. I remember the next morning, I didn't find out about it. I probably wasn't watching Monday Night Football. But I remember seeing it the next day in the paper. I remember my mother getting the Boston Globe off the front porch, coming in and going, "Oh my God!" And we were like, "What?" And my sister and I eating at the table, and she held up the newspaper and it said, "John Lennon shot dead." I was like, "Oh my God!" When I went to school that day, kids were wearing black armbands. A lot of kids wore black armbands for like a week, you know, over the death of John Lennon. It was huge. It was huge. What do you think about the Indonesian Ibanez gems? I haven't played one, but you know, their Indonesian stuff is pretty good. I know the Indonesian Fenders are pretty damn good. So I don't know. Indonesia seems to be cranking out some pretty quality guitars recently. Is it really 8:17? Have we really been here for? Oh my God! I swear to God, I figured it was about 30 minutes ago. About 10 minutes of 8. My God, tonight is flying by. Steven, should I buy a Harley Benton PRS copy? You know, I've heard good things about them. Like my my Harley Benton, you know, there could be some under the finished flaws, right? Like dents that they just go right over. It's not going to be perfect. It's certainly not going to be a PRS, right? And you will need to set it up, and you will need to like lubricate the nut slots and you know, probably put a decent set of strings on it, you know, because they have to cut costs somewhere. And so like nut cut and, you know, anything like that, that's where your biggest points are. But for the most part, and I just played some out at GitCon, they're pretty damn good. The Harley Benton stuff is good. And I'll say one thing about Thomann, they're pretty rigorous about their quality control in-house. They're pretty damn good about it. So I think when they get them in, they go through them all because they know there's going to be like 10 or 20% that's just going to need maybe work to the point of where it's not even worth selling it because they don't want to have to deal with it. They don't want to babysit a guitar after you sell it, right? It's like when the guitar is sold, the last thing they want to do is deal with it again. So it really, to get rid of like 90% of returns and, you know, warranty issues and all stuff like that, just make sure it plays good out of the gate. And that's 90% of your problem right there, you know. Play an ELO tune. Do I know an ELO tune? Hello, how are you? He's way out of my range. Have you been alright? I forget it now. Steve, what do you think about East Coast guitars? I don't think I've ever been there. Is that a store? Is that a retail establishment, or are they a manufacturer? They go, yeah, how's that for a disappointing answer? I know so little about it. I don't even know whether they're a maker or a seller. B. It's B. ELO, don't bring me down. Don't bring me down, down. Right. Hello. Have you been alright? I forget. That's what I see. How many have a Schecter? That's the best playing guitar I've owned so far. You know, they've been on my radar. I've never owned one. But I like their Sun Valley Super Shred. That's like right up my alley, right? Strat style with a, you know, Floyd on it and all that. If there's one Schecter guitar I'm interested in, it's probably the Sun Valley Super Shred, you know. Or, and again, sort of the same guitar, the Nick Johnson, right? Again, it's just sort of a Strat. East Coast, New Anderton's house brand. Oh, interesting. Look it up. It's from Anderson's. Okay. Yeah, it's B. It's all B. something like that. I'm just going to go like that, just chromatic. Christian says, have owned about 4 Carvins over the years. Great guitars, one-trick ponies, and tough resale. I hear you on the resale. They are a little tricky on the resale. So with Carvin, my recommendation is just buy it used, because all that, you've already pulled out all that, you know, loss out of it by taking it on by just buying them used straight up. I think I paid, I want to say I paid like $4.99, maybe $5.50 for my Carvin. And, you know, that guitar new was probably $1,500. It's got a couple of, it's got the Alan Holdsworth headstock. I think that's like a $50 or $100 feature. And it's got a couple of bird's eye fingerboard. I think that's a little bit extra, you know, and it's got coil cutting and stuff. I think when you add anything extra on those guitars, it quickly starts to add up. So something that starts out at a base of maybe 1,100 quickly starts to ramp up to like 1,100, 1,500, you know. You need locking tuners if you don't mind winding. You know, I still, on locking tuners, you know, even with a locking tuner, I still wrap it up a little bit. And I'll tell you why. If I don't, okay, right, so you got a string, right? You got a string, right? And you've got the hole in the post, right? So string goes in, and what happens? Boom. It goes right to a right angle, right? And you're twisting it around the pole, right? What happens is when you twist it around a bunch of times, it's all just line, right? But when you twist it around and you've pulled it through tight and then you tighten down your locking tuner, you might turn it just a tiny bit. And now you've got this 90-degree angle on your string. You see what I'm saying? Right? So you're down a little bit, up a little bit, down a little bit, up a little bit, and all of a sudden snap. It snaps off. I've seen that over and over again. So even on a locking tuner, I recommend like one full wrap around, because if you don't, if it's just straight to this and you're only like halfway on a turn, as you go up and down on that 90-degree turn, as it comes out of that post hole, you're gonna have this hard point that's gonna go like this, slightly this way, slightly that, and then boom, just gonna break apart. I've seen it so many times. It's happened on my guitars, but I couldn't figure it out. I was like, just wrap a little bit more around the post, even a 3/4 around the post, just enough to get it around so it never breaks its pull on the side of the post. You see what I'm saying? Right? It's not going up and down and up and down. That, again, I understand the design, but it's almost like you need a little bit of a wrap to fully take advantage of it. Hey, what's up, Tone King? Yeah, you like this? It's a Becker. It's not mine. It's Krellbar's. Well, he left it here. And now I'm playing it. It's savage, though, huh? Look at that neck. Look at that. It is nice. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? What's that green guitar over my, this green one right here? That is a Fender 62 American vintage reissue. It's a 62 AVRI. It's got so it's a, yeah, what are they, yeah, you know, it's American vintage reissue. But it's got it doesn't have the stock pickups. It's got custom shop 69 pickups in it. Yeah, it's cold in Connecticut. It's cold here too. Let's see. What's our current temp outside? Well, 19 degrees. That's Fahrenheit. Would have to go up by, 13 degrees to get to 0 degrees Celsius. How about a little Judas Priest? Yeah, 19 degrees in Boston. It's not too bad down here. It's probably about 65. Probably about 65 down here. Yeah, 19 degrees Fahrenheit is -7 Celsius. Yeah, that's about right. Because, the whole world is on Celsius other than us. Is the UK on metric, or are they still doing the Queen's math on that? 29 in Central Ohio. Yeah, that's pretty good. 12 in North Dakota. All right, we have a winner. 42 in New Mexico. Why, I oughta. 75 in Naples. You son of a... -9 Celsius in Ottawa. So you're around ours. You're just slightly colder than we are. UK is 9 degrees Celsius. That's balmy. At least you're above freezing. I find that that once you're above freezing, it's a huge difference. Like when you're outside, and once I'm above 32, it's not too bad. But below 32, it really does kind of suck. Where do you get that SFB TH3 patch? One of my shows had it out there. I don't know if anybody has the link. You can. I don't know who would be able to post it. Terry might be able to post it if he's still here. Well, he might not be here anymore. I don't know. Bark at the Moon. Hold on. I gotta brace myself. See, that's the problem. I gotta brace myself. Do you own any Jackson guitars or ever? No. Like I said, there was one on my radar recently, but maybe a couple of years, like a year ago, and I couldn't buy it in time. It sold too quickly. I just never, couldn't do it. And then of course that price was so good. Right now I look at them and I'm like, yeah, but that other one was $200 cheaper, right? It's like then you ruin yourself. Can you do some Queen Rick? I can't, but I'm friends with the guy from Operation Mindcrime, and which is the new Jeff Tate's new band. So maybe I can get him to show me a couple of the tunes. What amp does that patch simulate? I think it's a dual rig, right? Yeah, it's a dual rig. So it's a DV mark in one channel. Probably, I don't know if that's the left or the right. I guess that's left, I'm thinking. Uppers. Channel 1 must be left and channel 2 is right. So it's a DV mark in the left and an Engel Fireball in the right. But they have to call it like the England burn sphere, because you can't call it a Fireball, the burn sphere. And then that goes out to a stereo delay and a digital reverb. And that's it. That's your whole rig. There's your rig. What's up, Guitar Hack? Tells you, yeah, it's TH3 software. Yeah, you need the patch. It's on one of my. It's out there. All right, one of my live streams is going to have it down in the description or somewhere. Someone posted it. I forget. It's out there though. It's called Steve OVB or OVB. Now I'm curious. Now I got to look it up. Where was it? That's test. Well, that's not it. Is it on the desktop? It's not on my desktop. All right. So, I'll bet it's on like my file server here. Just talks amongst yourselves. I'm just looking some stuff up. Let me go to my B server. Yeah, it's called steve01.ovb. And it looks like I put it out on, this can't be right, November 4th, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. That's the last time it was written. Yeah. Your mileage may vary. All right, back here. I'm doing a live show, damn it. What do you guys think of have you seen the new Fender Performer series? I think that's a replacement for, was it the Special, right? Are they going to call it the Special? What's it called? Yeah, the Special is now, is it the Performer? I don't even know anymore. All right, I'm just going through the messages here a little bit. What do you think of ESP? I think ESP guitars are really good. I think ESP is a quality maker that makes really good stuff. Now, you got to remember that it's definitely different between the like the ESP and the LTD, which I think the LTD is their like import line, but ESP stuff is, and their stuff isn't cheap, but their stuff is really good. What is your guitar itself plugged into? A Focusrite 18i20. See you later, Metalhead Hippie. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. I went back in the comments a little bit because I'm just trying to catch up a tiny bit. Much love from Australia. Thanks, buddy. Pixie Licks is one of my first subscriptions. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Working my way down here. All right, here we go. PDX Guitar Freak, just got my first ESP recently. Love it. Yeah, see, there's love out there for that brand. I mean, that brand is pretty huge. I mean, it wasn't all just on the back of Kirk Hammett, right? I mean, they had to put out a quality guitar at some point. Just got a Fender Midnight Series MIJ Strat. Beautiful guitar. Couldn't believe the price. Nice. Did you buy it brand new or did you get it used? Because, you know, it's tougher to get the used stuff, I think, in America because they don't really market it for here. But there's so many people bringing stuff over that they show up. They get on the market. Steve, any plans to come to the UK and visit China Guitar Skeptic? Not right now. I have wanted to get to the UK for many years, but first of all, it's kind of expensive. It's actually cheaper for me to fly to Frankfurt than it is for me to fly to London. It really is. So there's that. It's actually kind of pricey, but what I'd like to do is maybe tack it on the next time I go to GitCon or TGU. Just find a way to stop in the UK. But, you know, it really does add a lot of expense to it. That's really the only reason why I haven't done it. It's straight up, like for a lot of things, it's money. It's just money. This thing just pulls the squeals out, huh? Can we still go back to the old Pixie show? Sure. They're all around. I don't really, I very rarely take down videos. If I do, it's because I screwed it up somehow. Have Anderson sponsor you? I'd love to, but I doubt they'd be into it. Check Virgin Atlantic? Okay. Yeah, see, there's the point. It's finding somebody who flies out of my airport, which is Logan International. And I think there is a Virgin Atlantic here. In other words, it really depends on whether or not they even fly out of your airport. A lot of times you have to take connecting flights. But I think I can get Boston to UK. That's good. I will check Virgin Atlantic. I think you're right on that, man. Get Anderson's to pay. You can do a meet the captain. I've already met the captain a few times. He's probably like, we met, bro. I always accost him at the NAMM show. So with Aerosmith, right? A lot of people, you know. Right, I do it here. Right, just do it there. Can you play a rat lick like round and round? I don't know. What is it? I know. I always play the same rat licks. Yeah, we have real feel too. That wind kicks in. There were like 150, 200 MIJ guitars made for this run at $7.99. I have no idea why Fender did it. Yeah, they can be a little really weird like that. It's like, is it just like overstock? They're like, oh, we found 200 guitars. It's because it's not selling in Japan, so they bring it over here as like something new. But it's just a way to just move out inventory, you know. Any tips for someone coming to NAMM for the first time? Comfortable shoes would be my strongest recommendation. I would find really, really good shoes that will let you stand in them all day. Get ready for, 8 to 10 miles of walking a day, just in the facility. You usually walk a good 8 to 10 miles, and just walking around. And there's not a lot of places to sit, especially downstairs. You have to go upstairs, and they're always taken. It's like you're going to stand around forever trying to find a place to sit down. So in that, I recommend comfortable shoes. Yeah, so, yeah, Fender Midnight, yeah. Just freeing up your link there, buddy. The links get hidden until someone frees them up. It's their anti-spam. Oh my God, is it really 8:43? Seems like 5 minutes ago I was saying it was 8:17. Yeah, sketches with memory foam. I've had good luck with those. Who's up for hearing the green Strat? I can play the green Strat if you want to hear it. It's up to you. We got about 15 minutes left, maybe 20. Oh, there's a car in the driveway. Boston's best band, The Cause. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So yeah, people seeing Fender. All right, we'll try the Fender. We can do the Fender. Hold on. Watch your ears. I'm gonna kill. Oh, that feels like a little far away. There we go. A little closer. A little close. Ow, ow, damn. So this is the 62. You've seen this one before, right? You know, with all the lacquer and the... Anyone want to guess what I paid for this thing? I stole it. Stole it. Oh, damn it. Damn it. All right, watch your ears. Watch your ears. Hold on. There's a warning to the headphone people. You wouldn't think it would. You wouldn't think that would be brighter than a Strat, but it is. Well, one guy. No, I don't think anyone's hit it close. Everyone's way under. Remember, this is an AVRI. This is an American. This isn't a, this is MIA. Most people are a little low. One guy, a couple guys are a little high. Watchman for you is getting closer. He's probably the closest one so far. Yeah, 69 pups are always brighter, not normally brighter. 69 pups are bright. Watchman for you is too low. Peter Brown is too high. It is an even number. It is an AVRI. Bruins 3-0. There's a number I like to see. Beatmaster has it. Beatmaster wins. Though technically, I paid $600 even because I paid $5.99 for the guitar and I paid $1 for the hard shell case, and no tax. I bought it in the Nashua, New Hampshire store. Drove up there with my kids over the summer. I think I got it in July. Show you there's not really a lot of flame on the neck or anything. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I know, right? Stolen, right? I mean, how do you get an AVRI for that kind of money? It's because they were sort of at a loss as to what it was. This guitar has obviously been customized. You know, it's really a parts caster in a major way. But the reason why I bought it is because the neck on this guitar had sold on eBay used for like, not this exact neck, but one of these necks had sold for like $6 1/4. So I figured at $5.99, I could sell the neck and break even, let alone the body and the pickups and all the other hardware. So, you know, I felt pretty confident in the purchase. It was very risky because there was a huge question mark about this guitar. And it wasn't until I ripped it apart and looked in the neck pocket and saw exactly what the hell this thing was that I was finally like, because I bought it with no returns. The only way I could get that price is if I agreed not to return it. They wanted out on this guitar, and I was all too happy to take it. I was like, sure, I'll do it. And but they wanted $799. I said no. In fact, I should have said, and I regret not saying, 500 even. I should have just said 500 even and not 600. And I probably would have walked out of there for 500. I think they were willing to go to. I think if I went to 400, they'd be like, nah, that's too much of a hit. They're not going to take that hit. But I think they were ready to move this guitar. It had already sold and been returned once, because the guy probably got it home and said, well, wait a second. You know, the neck is a 2016, but the body is a 1999. This is clearly thrown together. But it's, you know, it checks out. It's legit. Especially, the funny thing is you just look at the nut on this thing, and it's so well cut. It's so, I mean, I could tell just by looking at the guitar. I was like, oh, this is off the chart. I could tell the body was lacquer, just from the way the dings were on it, right? The way it's scratched, everything. I could just tell. And so I was like, you know, I took a little risk on it, but I think it totally paid off, because you're not going to get this guitar for less than, I don't know, $1,200, $1,300 all day long. And that's a steal, even at $1,200, $1,300. You know, the 62, you know, AVRIs, they, you know, they're up there. They're pretty much $11.99, $12.99 all day long. Do you still have the Strat with the telly and the rosewood necks? I do. I still got those solid rosewood necks. I do. And what's so funny is you're starting to see some people specking out guitars, and they're coming with rosewood necks because, no, not rosewood neck, but rosewood fingerboard, because as I mentioned before, that they're fine. I think they're going to put finished guitars on the sites list. So if the guitar has been finished, that's going to be an exemption to the sites list, which is going to free up rosewood. You know, I don't know if I mentioned it, but the problem is that some Chinese makers were using banned woods, and it looked sort of like rosewood, and when they put it through, they would say it was rosewood, but they didn't really know. And so to combat them, they just threw rosewood on the list to say, okay, well, now rosewood's on the list too, but it had the side effect of screwing the guitar manufacturing business, and so they're going to put that as an exception to the rule. What year's the bod? The bod's in 1999. 1999. I really like the channel bound neck Strat you had. I still have that. That's an MIJ 65 reissue. Looks like they've started relaxing the site stuff. Yeah, I'm seeing that more and more. I don't think it's official. It probably isn't official till January 1, you know, but as things often are. But yeah, no, it's looking good, right? The industry needed that. It was no one. I mean, Pal Ferro is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's a traditional market, and people don't want to hear about substitutes for the woods that they love. It feels a little loud. Showman says, I think these are selling closer to 18 or 1900, not 1200. New, but not used. Used, I wouldn't pay more than 1500 for an AVRI. Maybe 1600, but not really. I'm looking to get it for like $13.99, between $11.99 and $13.99, which, you know, you gotta hang maybe around for a little bit to get one. But I wanted a 65 reissue so bad. I'm glad I didn't buy one, because I actually like the neck on the 62. It's a touch smaller. The 65 reissue has a little bit of a little larger neck, like the one in Dakota Red. I think they made a few in the 65. Dakota Red, and it might have been a Sunburst. There's a few different models, maybe a white. Now, what was I saying about that? That was the 65. The 69 has a little easier neck on it, I think. Let's talk amps, man. All right, what do you want to know? You ever block Fender trims, or do you just deck them with 5 springs? I never do. I like to use the trims on my guitars. I very rarely deck them down. I just don't. I tend to use them, so I very rarely do that. I know that on some guitars, maybe on like one Strat, I might do it because I'm doing some like double, right? Some bending. And I don't want these 2 notes to go down when I'm bending this note up, right? My 65 RA was a 3-color Sunburst. Yeah. Those are nice. Yeah, Pal Ferro is good enough for SRV. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with Pal Ferro. Nothing. It's just that it's not rosewood. That's the only problem with it, right? Which is a strange problem to have. The only thing you can say about Pal Ferro is that it's not rosewood. And people are funny like that. Best amp of 2018? Let me think about that. What's come out in 2018? I know those new Boss amps are getting a lot of love. And didn't they come out at the NAMM show with the Marshall DSL-20? I think that's done really well. It was the Marshall Origin amp, a new amp for 2018. I'm trying to think of the amps that came out this year. I love the Katana 100, but that's not a new amp. That amp's been out for a little bit. They just released new software for it. Yeah, that new Boss series, Next Tone, Next One, Next Tone, something like that. We are a bunch of picky bastards. I agree. Super Black Magic. Yeah, is that the little one? Is that the little mini one? That did sound pretty awesome. That is a good amp. Oh my God, is it 9 p.m.? We might have to wrap up here, guys, or my family's gonna be having a mutiny on me. I can't believe it's 9 o'clock. The Black Spirit came out this year. That's a killer amp. That's a really good amp. Good call on that. That is a really good amp. It's pretty much like my Grandmeister 40 right there. Except it doesn't run as hot. It's only 3 pounds instead of 20 pounds. And, it runs cold to the touch. And it's 200 watts instead of 40 watts. It's a pretty killer amp. Best amp of 2018, Headrush. Well, isn't Headrush a, you mean board, best pedal board of the year, Headrush, right? Did Headrush come out with an amp? I thought they came out with a new pedal, right? Smaller version of the original one. We are your family. Did the Brent Hines, that's right there, was the Hines a new amp this year? Was this the newest amp right here, the Brent Hines, or did that come out in 2017? Because that's a killer amp, the orange Brent Hines. That's a really good amp. And that guy is a player. He's not really even on my radar, but the amp is killer. Makes a good amp. All right. I think we should wrap it up. Just because if I don't, because it is 9:02, I think my wife will kill me. They're not going to be happy about it. They're going to be like, we're waiting for you to finish up. All right, dudes. I'm going to wrap this up because I kind of have to. I really appreciate everyone hanging out tonight. This night flew by so fast. I can't believe it. And super extra thanks to anyone who contributed. Very much appreciated. I will try to have one more live show before the end of the month. Let me just check the old calendar here. Well, maybe we can do it on the 22nd. That'll be 2 weeks from tonight. Rather than the 15th. Maybe we'll target the 22nd on that. We'll see what we can do. All right. And I hear the doorbell. There's no one at the door, but because I have a camera at my front door. There's no one at the door. But yeah, it'll be worse. It'll be my phone blowing up, knowing, are you gonna finish or what? It'll be killing me. All right, no, you rock. All right, dudes. As always, thanks so much for hanging out, dudes. Really dig it. We've been going, well, it's 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 56, 57, 58, 59, 2 hours. All right, we're at the 2 hour mark. All right, dudes. No, you rock. Thanks so much for hanging out, and rock on, and I'll see you at the next one. And until then, rock on. And until then, rock on with your rock-oning. All right. All right, dudes.